Hey everyone, the multiverse is real, and I want to explain some of Neville Goddard's concepts with you so that you can better utilize them. This is from a request from one of my viewers. Neville Goddard, if you're not aware of him, he teaches something called revision. Revision is a process where you go to sleep at night or you do some self-hypnosis and you go back to a point in your past, in the day or the week or the month before, and you rewrite a memory that you have. Like, say for instance, you were fired from your job. So you go back to that memory and you rewrite it in your mind where you were never fired, but in actuality, you actually had a promotion. And by doing this, it creates a feeling in your body, and through that feeling, you're able to shift from one reality into another reality. And this is called revisionism. Now, for those who are interested in Neville Goddard and understand what I'm saying, you may want to continue listening. If you've never heard of Neville Goddard before and the whole idea of multiverses and multiple parallel realities is strange to you, I invite you to open your mind for a few moments and hear what I have to say, and you may find that a new understanding awakens within you that allows you to know that there's more possible to the world than you could ever possibly imagine. So going back to revisionism, many people have a lot of hard times. Sorry about my speech there. I sometimes get spaced out and I channel the information. Many people have a hard time when it comes to understanding how revisionism applies and how they can do it. And I believe this is because of three key areas, and if you understand these key areas, it will help you literally shift from one dimension to the other, one reality. The first is understanding that the reality that you're currently in now, it is not the prime reality. It is not the original reality, and everything else is an extension of that. If you can understand that, it will really help free your mind. The reality you're experiencing now is actually one of infinite realities, and infinite realities exist where every decision that you make, another reality springs into existence where you made another decision. So infinite realities exist. So in terms of Dr. Strange's multiverse, there's actually truth to this. Now, the reason people can't shift into different realities, it's not that they can't shift into them. It's that they're not aware that the shifting is occurring. Many people shift all the time, but they're not aware of it because the realities that they shift into are so close to the reality that they last left. So, for instance, have you ever been going to a different place or driving to a different place, and suddenly you noticed, not a different place, driving to a place you're familiar with, and suddenly you see a tree that you've never noticed before, or perhaps you'll be in public and you'll meet a friend, and a friend will just say they just saw you in another town, or they saw you in another state, even though you had no recollection being there. There was a story one time about a bunch of women. This is from Dolores Cannon. A bunch of women, I think 4 friends, would watch the Art Bell radio show every Sunday, and then they would discuss the next day after recording the show. And so after they agreed to listen to the next show, the next morning they all met each other, and 2 of the friends were really upset because the show had been canceled, while the other 2 friends really weren't sure what they were talking about. Now, coincidentally, all 4 of them had recorded the show, and 2 of them recorded a show where it actually said, hey, this show's been canceled, it won't be airing tonight, and the other 2 friends recorded a show where the show went on. What happened is that they had each moved into a parallel universe, and then they had come back without their awareness, and come back together without their awareness. Now, if you actually start paying attention, you're going to find that you move in and out and you're not aware of it. So as we're going back to revisionism, revisionism is just a process of using visualization to remember things in a different way, and then it creates a feeling or an energetic frequency that allows you to shift into another reality. Now, a lot of problems that people have with this is, one, is they have beliefs in their subconscious mind that this is impossible, or it's demonic, or it's dangerous. So before you can start doing these shifts, you're going to have to clear these beliefs out of your subconscious mind. The second problem people have is that they're still thinking in terms of escaping this reality into another reality. Like in their minds, this reality is the prime, the only one, the solid one. If you hear my dog in the background, he's just chewing himself. I don't really know why he does that sometimes, but as I digress, if you stop thinking of this reality as the solid, the fixed one, the real one, and that's what gets most people hung up. They're like, this reality is the real one, so how am I supposed to get into this weird construct? Well, you have to understand the reality that you're in now is not the real one. You're actually just in another expression of a dimension. So anyways, I digress. So when you do reality shifting or reality revisionism, it happens in two different ways. If your subconscious mind is able to handle it, like say you're in this reality and you want to move into this reality. If your mind can handle it, you'll do the revisionism in this reality, and then the next day you'll wake up in this reality. For most people, their minds can't handle that, so there's something called bridging. Now, say for instance you got fired here, and say for instance in this reality you never were fired. Now, in between all of those realities are other realities. So say for instance there's a reality here where here's where you're fired, here's where you're never fired. There's a reality here where the boss starts to think different about his decision and he wants you back. There's a reality here where something happens and you're getting a promotion. There's a reality here where you get hired again, and then there's a reality here where you have your job, okay? So for many people, what's going to happen is going to be called bridging, because their subconscious minds can't comprehend waking up in a different world. They have to construct something where they can bridge. So they'll be like, you lost your job, and now you want your job back. First of all, you understand that you're not getting anything back, you're just moving into a different reality. And understand that you never lost your job, you just experienced a reality where you lost your job. And that's the biggest thing you need to understand. You didn't lose anything, you just moved into a reality where you lost something. So for instance, you do the revisionism, like you lost your job, and now you want it back. So you do the revisionism, and then because your mind can't handle a big jump, you're going to do bridges. So let's say you do the revisionism, and after about a week, you wake up in a reality where suddenly the boss starts having restructuring in the company and realizes how valuable you are. And then maybe another day you wake up into another reality where perhaps you pick up a new skill set, or the boss realizes he needs you. And then you pick up another reality where all of a sudden you're back, you're rehired, or you have a better job, right? That bridging occurred because your mind couldn't handle the jump. So what happens is it goes multiple realities that are close enough to not mess with your head so you can kind of believe them. However, optimally, once you get to the point where you really master revisionism, you'll be able to actually do the jumps without actually doing the bridging. So hopefully this answers your question. You need to really let go of the idea of moving out of the real reality into another reality and start embracing the idea that you do it all the time and that you just merely have an experience. That's why forgiving yourself is really important. If you're full of shame and you can't forgive yourself for having an experience, essentially you're holding on to one reality. If you can just understand that, say you made a mistake, and you should own that decision, but that mistake would exist regardless of whether or not you experience it. So say for instance the job experience, say you were fired from your job and you want to go to a reality where you weren't, that's fine. But here's what you have to really understand. Even if you were never fired, listen to what I'm saying here. Even if you were never fired, the reality where you were fired will always exist. So you can't erase it. And if you can understand that, that will help you. Let's say, for instance, you want to go into a reality where your girlfriend and you never broke up. Even if you and your girlfriend never broke up, the reality where you did break up will always exist. So start thinking in terms of what you're experiencing as opposed to trying to undo things. If that makes any sense. Let me know if this makes sense to you, and let me know if you'd like to hear more stories that focus on this topic. All right, guys, let me know. And then depending on your comments below, we can go deeper into this, but sometimes I'm not sure if it's too far out for you guys, but for you guys who are familiar with Neville Goddard, it should make a lot of sense to you.